It's Thursday, August 23rd, 2007, and you're watching The Ointment. I'm Steve Tatham, and today I'm feeling, capricious. Our top story is that we have an exclusive interview with the Vice President of the United States. We here at The Ointment are pretty darn excited about it. We've landed a sit-down chit-chat with Dick Cheney himself. So I'm going to begin now with some questions for the Vice President. Mr. Vice President, my first question for you is, could you describe for us in just a few words the state of things in Iraq?
U.S. occupation of Iraq. None of the Arab forces that were willing to fight with us in Kuwait were willing to invade Iraq.
So why do you think things over there are such a disaster?
Once you got to Iraq and took it over and took down Saddam Hussein's government, then what are you going to put in its place?
We really appreciate your candor. Why do you think it is, sir, that things are so especially difficult?
That's a very volatile part of the world.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm sure that you have a long-term strategy, and I'd like to give you the opportunity to voice that. So could you explain for us what your plans are for what happens in Iraq after you leave office?
You can easily end up seeing pieces of Iraq fly off. Part of it the Syrians would like to have to the west. Part of eastern Iraq the Iranians would like to claim, fought over for 8 years. In the north you've got the Kurds, and if the Kurds spin loose and join with the Kurds in Turkey, then you threaten the territorial integrity of Turkey.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's quite clear. Do you think you could give our audience a summary of where you think this whole thing is headed?
It's a quagmire.
Very insightful, sir. Why do you think it is that things are so particularly difficult and troubling?
The other thing was casualties. Americans killed in action, and for their families it wasn't a cheap war. And the question for the President, in terms of whether or not we went on to Baghdad and took additional casualties in an effort to get Saddam Hussein, was how many additional dead Americans is Saddam worth? And our judgment was not very many.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ointment exclusive interview with Vice President Dick Cheney. That's the Ointment for another day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Steve Tatham, and that's news. Catch you tomorrow, everybody.
It's a quagmire.